Charles Schwab recently surveyed people to get a sense, what did people think you had to have to be rich? And there's a lot of different answers to that, but this survey that is done year after year finds that the consensus answer was you have to have a net worth of, hope you're sitting, $2.2 million. Now, the reality is a number like that is unattainable for almost everybody. There's very, very few people that will ever end up with multi-millions in net worth. Very, very rare. And so when you think about where people are on income, they talk about the one percenters. Kiplinger put together a list based on people's income, what kind of money they actually had. So the top 1% of Americans have over $10 million in net worth. $10 million. What about the other 99%? Well, we move down. The top 2% of Americans are in that $2 million range that people said would make you rich. And so you think about that, taking 2% of society and saying people having that or more, that would be rich. That makes sense to me. How about the top 5%? $1 million. So that means 95% of people have less than $1 million. Makes sense to me too. And so the top half of income earners in the United States have $500,000. And that is significant. If you ever heard of Wes Moss, who's a financial planner, he's found that most Americans can have a very comfortable retirement if they are able to hit that $500,000 that the top 50% of Americans on average have. That you take $500,000 and what people will have from Social Security, whatever other money they might have in savings, or maybe they have a small pension from somewhere or something like that, that $500,000 for the average American retiree gets it done. So why am I talking about this? This is not about creating class envy or anything like that. It's just when the headlines come out that, hey, you're only rich if you have more than $2 million. The reality is being comfortable and being financially secure, that's the standard that really matters. And so over a working lifetime, if you are consistently saving money, you can get to a decent amount of assets. And not assets that will get you rich, but assets that will allow you to have peace of mind at the time you retire. And the reality check is half of us approach retirement with not one red cent saved on average. Not one. So does that mean you're going to work forever? It does not. It means that your trajectory is likely to be different than the people who have reached retirement age who have that $500,000 or more. What it might mean for you is that work is something you continue to do part-time for years past when you're not working full-time. It may mean you work additional years full-time with a special emphasis in those last several years of squirreling away as much money as you can. And so know that you can ask people, this is really funny, there was a survey a while back that asked people who made ultra-high annual incomes how they were living, and it was amazing how many of them said they were living hand to mouth, that they had no money available for savings or anything like that. And so part of this whole equation is lifestyle creep. How do you live a lifestyle that affords you a decent life and still put money aside to save. You know, there's a level of income where we just don't have enough money, regardless, to pay everyday expenses, to make sure we're putting a decent amount of food on the table and things like that. But you get above a certain level, and it's all about choices of what we spend, what we buy with borrowed money. Think of how much money people spend every month on vehicle loans. And they had a vehicle that was working fine, but they got excited about buying a new vehicle. So it's the lifestyle you adopt that creates the opportunity to save or not save over time. And then the amount of money you have, if you're living a more reasonable lifestyle, the amount of money you have saved goes so much further.